Paradise Enow tells the story of two people that meet, a woman, Franklin, and a man, Jesse, and how they form an attraction to one another until they find out that they are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but in a very personal way. He's an anti-abortionist, and he's protesting outside the clinic that her mother is a doctor at. And so for a second it looks like nothing's going to happen, but they decide to give it a try anyway. And the play tells the story of how they try to navigate through this very difficult difference between the two of them. The impetus for making the play about what it was came after the impetus for making a play, which is totally the opposite of every other play I've ever written. In fact, virtually every play I've ever written, I've written in my head before I opened a file and started writing it on the screen. This was a totally different experience. I was devising this play, not literally devising it, but in that sense, I was making something happen. And the notion of having two people who are on a bench, I mean, there is a genre in theater of bench plays. The notion of having these two people on a bench, I knew had to include some tension between the two of them, and abortion came into my mind almost immediately, and as being a very likely one. And then it became a very facile way to reach closure in the play as well, which I don't think I thought about before I started writing it. It was just a path that I was able to pursue. In the course of writing this play, what I had wanted to do was to express some of the anger I felt at the anti-abortion movement and the dogmatism and the violence inherent in it. But I found that I couldn't really write something that was so one-sided, and I needed to try to balance it as much as possible. I don't feel balanced when I look at the news or hear the news and find out what's going on. But as a writer, I just couldn't put something so one-sided on stage. It just didn't feel right to me. The challenge for me was to make the male, Jesse, enough of a decent, warm person that the woman, Franklin, could fall in love with him, that it would be believable, and also that it would be interesting on stage, not just terribly black and white. So that was what I was most concerned about when I wrote the story. What the play was meant to do was to echo a little bit my own pessimism about finding a middle ground about issues that separate us. And so the takeaway of this play is that one would think, if anything could get people to work things out, it would be the deep love these two people felt. And so I think what people will take away from the show is how difficult a challenge that really is.